Coming up on First at 4, Governor Beshears makes his pitch to legislators in Frankfort for more infrastructure funding. And the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives faces a critical vote in Congress.
Plus, we are dry this afternoon, but our next rain chance is looming. Those details coming up as Mountain News First at 4 starts now.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News First at 4.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Hensley. First at 4, Governor Andy Beshears says the legislature should earmark millions of dollars in clean drinking water and internet projects to education and economic development projects. The governor outlined the proposals during a news conference this morning in Frankfort. It is the third such announcement ahead of next year's budget negotiations. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more.
Governor Beshears calls this his Better Kentucky Infrastructure Plan, and he says along with more money for teachers and police, he says more money needs to be invested in a wide variety of community projects to benefit the state as a whole. It is the third part of what Beshears is proposing for lawmakers to consider in next year's budget. Along with raises for teachers and police, Beshears announced today he'll recommend $500 million in clean water projects for underserved areas, which will not result in higher rates. He also wants more than $1 billion in high-speed internet access that he says will be the largest public investment in state history.
That will all be appropriated in the next budget to bring affordable, reliable, high-speed internet service to every Kentuckian.
The governor is also proposing $10 million for affordable housing, which he says would be the largest general fund expenditure in about 20 years. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, now back to you.
Phil, thank you. Kentucky House Speaker David Osborne released a statement that says in part that the governor is throwing out ideas he has not spoken to anyone about, will do nothing to help pass, and that he is taking credit for work the legislature has passed. The 2023 SOAR Summit is underway in Corbin. SOAR, or Shaping Our Appalachian Region, brings many organizations together to discuss various topics. This is the second time the summit has been held in Corbin. Speakers are on stage throughout the day with different events as well. Corbin Mayor Susie Rasmus says city employees are very excited to once again host the event.
These are all of our community members all throughout Southeast Kentucky and the Appalachian region, and just, you know, to all get together and encourage each other and challenge each other to be better and to grow together. And, you know, it's just a really fun time.
The SOAR Summit will continue tomorrow, and it's a big day tomorrow. The featured speakers include the two candidates for governor and many others. We'll have much more on the summit coming up tonight at 6. Kentucky Senate President Robert Stivers and University of Kentucky President Dr. Eli Capilouto held a joint news conference in eastern Kentucky today to discuss the state's health and education needs. Capilouto spoke about the success the university has had, including the Marquis Cancer Center earning Comprehensive Cancer Center status. Capilouto says accomplishments like that mean they are a step closer to their ultimate goal.
Our dream for Kentucky is that no Kentuckian, no matter how sick they are, should wake up in the morning worried that they can't get the very best of care closest to home.
Now that event today taking place in Manchester, Capilouto says providing Kentuckians with care close to home comes from the help of all their partnerships. We will have more from both Capilouto and Stivers on the needs of the state tonight at 6.
Well, the big story this afternoon, we are mild across the mountains. We should be in the lower 70s, most of us right now in the middle to lower 80s. Here's a live look overlooking Triangle Park in downtown Hazard. A beautiful sky, plenty of blue sky and sunshine back in the distance. That current temperature, though, 84 degrees, and most of us right now in the upper 70s and lower 80s, up to 80 in Pikeville, 83 for Jackson, 87 for Irvin, also Monticello, 84 in Somerset, also London at this hour. So we are mild and we are are above average. And that's also going to continue as we go into your Wednesday. Up on the radar, a clean sweep as more dry air also continues across the mountains, all thanks to high pressure. And this weather system will continue to sit over our region this evening, also into your Wednesday. But notice back to the west, we are tracking an area of low pressure, also some severe weather in Nebraska and Kansas. Now, no severe weather for us, but rain chances, they will increase by Thursday evening, also into your Friday. But this evening, we stay dry, also mainly clear. Those temperatures back in the upper 70s and lower 80s, and we fall into the upper 50s and lower 60s as you wake up on Wednesday. But again, rain chances not too far away, cooler air also not too far away. All those details coming up in just a few minutes. Steve?
Cameron, thank you. Investigators in Laurel County are searching for a man they say tried to kill a 73-year-old woman. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office issued an arrest warrant for 38-year-old Richard Johnson, charging him with attempted murder. Deputies say the victim was found with multiple stab wounds. She was flown to UK Hospital in critical condition. Her name has not been released. Deputies say Johnson should be considered armed and dangerous. We will have much more on this tonight at 6. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy is facing a key point in his leadership of the House after Congressman Matt Gaetz, a longtime critic, moved to launch a vote to oust him from his speaker job. Gaetz is a Republican from Florida who rose in the chamber yesterday as the House was almost done for the day to file that motion. The resolution sets a possible vote to remove McCarthy that even Gaetz acknowledges may not have enough support.
Look, I think Matt has planned this all along. It didn't matter what we transpired. You know, he would have done it if we were in shutdown or not. I firmly believe it's the right decision to keep government open, to make sure our military is still paid, our border agents are still paid. And if that makes a challenge based upon whether I should be Speaker, I'll take that fight.
Only a handful of hard-right Republicans have signaled they are willing to vote to remove McCarthy. Now, this afternoon, there was a vote to basically table all this, and it failed. So right now, they are debating on the House floor whether to move forward and the pros and cons. And we do expect there will be a vote to oust Speaker McCarthy at some point. We are continuing to monitor that, and if there's any new developments before this hour is over, we'll of course pass it along. The son of President Joe Biden was arraigned this morning on 3 felony gun charges. He pleaded not guilty after a deal that included a diversion in connection with a firearms charge and a guilty plea to 2 misdemeanor tax charges collapsed in court during the summer. Hunter Biden may have been prepared to enter a diversion program, but his defense attorneys are indicating they plan to argue that a ban on gun possession for drug users is unconstitutional.
I think the questions going forward in the case are much bigger questions. So today was just part 1, but part 2 is, what will his defense team argue as this case continues? One of the things that we've talked about is, I think they're going to argue that one of the statutes that he's charged under is unconstitutional, that it violates the Second Amendment.
If convicted on all charges, Hunter Biden could face a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison and fines of up to $750,000. Coming up on First at 4, there's still time remaining in the Atlantic hurricane season, and experts say it could still spawn a powerful storm.
And we are tracking sweater weather for this weekend. Your full forecast coming up after this break.